Wow, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Wow.
One of my colleagues, that he's going to remain nameless, wouldn't interview you because he was too nervous.
You're kidding?
Really?
Come on.
Too much of a fan. Too much of a fan. Yeah. Okay, so Philip Bailey, Verdine White, Ralph Johnson.
Good day.
Welcome.
It's great to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I know it sounds like a silly question, but it's not really. Verdine, who is Earth, Wind and Fire today? Because you guys are huge, aren't they? And the lineup has been quite fluid.
Well, the Earth, Wind and Fire is the gentlemen that are here. Philip Bailey, myself, Ralph Johnson. We are Earth, Wind and Fire, EWF. The Fire, as fans call us. That's EWF, Earth, Wind and Fire.
And sadly, Maurice announced way back in the 90s because of his illness he wouldn't be touring with you anymore.
1994, right?
Yeah,
That was right around 1994. Maurice let us know that he could no longer tour with us. And so at that point, and that was certainly a pivotal point, we had to decide whether or not the music was bigger than one person. And so we put together a very quick 6-week tour in the fall of 94, which turned out to be very successful. And so here we are in 2013, still going at it.
Yeah. And it's great. And with this new album, did Maurice hear it at all or been involved at all? I wasn't sure.
Yes, he heard it. After we finished it, I dropped it off at his home, and I waited patiently and fearfully for 5 days.
Patiently and fearfully.
Patiently and fearfully. And he called back and he said he really liked the album, and he said, "Y'all didn't embarrass me," because of course, making an album with all the albums that you had mentioned, one of our other previous albums, you're being compared to everything you've ever done.
Indeed, yes. and I think that is the pressure for you. I mean, Philip, you're still singing those really high notes, and that pressure to be able to sing "After the Love Is Gone," for instance, by yourself in the concert, spotlight right on you. You must feel it whilst you're up there.
Not really. That's the easy part. But producing a record that is in keeping with all the great classic Earth, Wind and Fire records, that was a challenge. In fact, we've strayed away from that for almost 20 years next year, that we haven't attempted to make a classic Earth, Wind and Fire record in the keeping of All in All, I Am, That's the Way of the World.
Faces.
And it was in accepting that challenge, listening to the music as a listener instead of a participant.
Yeah.
And accepting the challenge to say, let's do it.
Interesting. I was looking on Amazon just to see what people who got the album are saying already about it, and they're saying Earth, Wind and Fire back to form. In other words, it sounds like classic Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yes. Well, the process of this particular project started at Philip's home, and we recorded a batch of songs, and I think a third, Philip, we got rid of, right? About
yeah, we got rid of maybe 3/4 of the project after listening to Guiding Light. We'd put Larry Dunn on there, and the song just really spoke to us because it really sounded like a classic Earth, Wind and Fire record. And so we talked to Larry, and we reached out to another producer, Neil Poe, and we just decided, okay, if we're going to do a record at all, because we really didn't need to do a record in order to tour.
Yeah.
But if we're going to do a record at all, then it needed to sound and feel like classic Earth, Wind and Fire, but still being contemporary.
Do you know what does it for me when it says that it is classic Earth, Wind and Fire? The first note, sign on. Bam. It's there. It just comes up. They're back. The second that track comes on, it's like, wow, you've got that groove, Verdine, wow.
Well, the true test for us is always how it feels with the live show. Mm-hmm. And the songs are going seamlessly into the live show without any hiccups or loss of energy or enthusiasm. And so it feels good.
That's funny you should mention that you said "bam." In one of the reviews from the Royal Albert Hall the other night, the first word they said was "boom."
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so yeah, and I think that reflects the energy of the band, and I think it reflects really, as you said, from the first note, it sounds like Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yeah. How were the gigs from your end? So the London gig, Manchester gig, it was pretty much a hot ticket, actually.
I tell you what, the Royal Albert last Saturday night was absolutely magical. It was, I mean, we brought in our full production, which was very important to us because, you know, when we do a show, we like to make sure that people are getting their full entertainment dollar, you know. So it was an incredible night of music and celebration, you know. So we're very happy with the way the Royal Albert situation turned out.
Okay. Was it 8 years between recording albums?
The last CD we did was Illumination, and that was 8 years ago. Wow,
quite something. Can I point you to another track now? Love is Law. Philip, you're leading on this, aren't you? Can you tell us about how this song came about?
Well, J.R. Hudson.
J.R. Hudson, yes.
Junior, right?
Junior. Well, his dad was Leroy Hudson.
Leroy Hudson.
Leroy Hudson. Yeah, okay. Remember the great Leroy Hudson, yeah.
Coming from Chicago, that was one of the last songs that we recorded. And it had a bit of a more contemporary feel, more of what they call a steppers kind of groove. But it kind of rounded off the arc for us with the record. And so back in the day when we would do records, we'd always kind of do songs with different regions in mind. We knew that this song's going to be good in the Midwest, and this one's going to be great in the South. This is the East Coast sound. This is a West Coast sound. So that one is more of a Midwestern kind of group. Of course, now that's changed because everything's conglomerate, and you hear the same thing everywhere. Yeah, I was going to say,
they're an Albert Hall song.
But we still approached it in that same manner in which, we're trying to make music for everybody.
Yeah. Whilst we're here, can we talk about Splashes?
Yes, my son, Philip Duran, Bailey, is a graduate from Berklee School of Music in Boston, and he actually wrote that while he was in school with a partner of his, and he had played it, the demo of it for me a few years ago, and I remember hearing it, and I said, that would just, I could really hear us doing that song.
Yeah.
And so
so it wasn't like, Dad, will you do this?
Well, it's a very rewarding experience because, we spent so much time away from our, families touring and doing records and so forth. And it's a great experience to it's a bonding experience, to have your son on the road with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, though, being a talented musician and having a family, it's not necessarily the case that you're going to pass that gene on.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So you can't force them into it. It's got to come.
That's true. That is so
well, it's obviously there, Philip, in that case. Let's talk about My Promise.
Saida Garrett.
Yeah. Great lyric. You talk us through this one?
Well, My Promise was brought by... One of the producers outside of Philip, Neil Poe, and as Ralph just mentioned, Saida Garrett, and it really sort of reminded us of Earth, Wind and Fire. Very up, very happy, the great chorus, and it really works well with the classic material in the live show. Because one of the challenges when you work on an album, will it work with the classics?
Yeah.
What you were talking about, Running, or would it work with That's the Way of the World and After the Lover's Gone? And it works really great, and it's very fluid. And it seems like it's always been in the lineup. And that's what's great about this particular album. Love is Law too. It just really works well. All these songs work well in the show.
Dance Floor being another one that we've included in the show.
Right? Absolutely. And wow, the actual production in that, the whole room was shaking when that came on my stereo. I can tell you that bass end really quite something.
And it's even crazier live.
Yeah.
Yes,
it
is.
Yeah. Do you know, actually, when that came on, I thought, yeah, that's a live track. That really is the one.
It works well.
So the the British audiences probably do love you a lot. Did you feel that love?
Well, the British musical ears are very sophisticated, so we love the fact that they love what we're doing and have loved it and been very supportive over the years. It's a very good feeling.
And the test really was the other night at Royal Albert, where it was just sold out everywhere.
Yeah, you can get a ticket.
Just an amazing concert, and how they responded to the songs.
Yeah, because did you feel they knew them all?
Oh, it was beautiful. We brought lasers. We brought our whole production, our visuals and the whole thing. And so we gave them the type of show that we've been wanting to give them, since back in the day.
Yeah.
They embraced the new material just as if they had known it forever.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those magical moments that I'm sure we'll be kind of riding high on for a while.
Oh, that's really great to hear. And we did have the new tracks, sort of up front, so we kind of played them a few times, I can tell you. Can you tell me, because Philip, you've had the kalimba out again, haven't you?
Almost
in the
definitely.
Rush. Yeah?
The kalimba is one of the signature sounds of Earth, Wind & Fire. Morrison introduced that to us early on. So that song was actually started with, I did 3 kalimba tracks, and I kind of meshed them together.
Yeah.
And me and Larry started the initial writing on that song with the kalimbas.
Yeah. Do you just sort of ping it? I mean, how do you play it?
Well, like with your two thumbs.
Yeah, I've seen one. I've actually been to a.
You're holding it with the rest of your fingers, and you're playing it just like it's a thumb piano. They call it. It's a African thumb piano.
Brilliant. You guys are all very coordinated. I noticed. You've got thing.
The interesting thing about what you're seeing here, is we've been together for 42 years.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that just kind of goes unsaid. And we really, it's very, very natural, very free flowing. And it's a real joy to be able to have that kind of experience with someone that you've been with a long time. We kind of seamlessly come in and out, without even stepping on each other's toes at that point, at this point and stuff. And it's a joy for us as well,
Great. Okay. Now, you've only done 2 concerts, London and Manchester.
Right.
Are you coming back, Verdine?
Yeah, we're going to try to come back. One of the things that Philip had been talking about is us coming back more and more, because, we were at the Verizon. We did the Verizon festival this summer, and we did the other festival in Scotland.
Yep.
And we were able to come back right away,
Yep.
The Royal Albert, which is actually quite unusual for us, because normally we stay away a little bit too long. But now we're making it a point and making our intention to come back much more often.
I've got one question for you, because we had the Italian Barry White deep voice. I mean, Philip, you're but this end, and then you've got Mario Biondi down at this end. Mario came and did his new album Sun at the Royal Albert Hall, actually, directly after that he came to chat to us, and he was absolutely beside himself because he'd had a call from you guys saying, will you do After the Love Is Gone? Can you take up on that for us?
Yes, and doesn't he sound like Barry White meets Satchmo?
Yeah.
It's like, okay. It's like, wow. We had a chance to do that song, After the Love Is Gone, live with him when we were in Italy. And that was a big kick for us and for him. And so surely enough, as we continue to visit the UK more, we're going to do more of those collaborations with different artists.
Wow. Okay. Get ready for the emails then, in that case. Earth, Wind & Fire, please, 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 will you do this? I know he was absolutely blown away by it, and I've seen the video on YouTube as well, so you can check that out. Okay, guys, once again, thank you very much for coming to see us.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you
much.
so much.